If only I had a webcam. If only I had a webcam. I do miss Loris Donim's theme. Don't know if I miss Loris Donim as much, though. Hey! Herlock Sholmes, I like the new look. Who's Herlock Sholmes? I'm in disguise, Naruhodo. You can't call me that. Call me Ronald McDonald. I think that name's taken by a clown with equally as red hair. Oh, fine. Fine, I'll get rid of the beard at least. Welcome back. Last stream was pretty long, but I hope you're all caught up with it. I really hope you're all caught up with it, because as again, we're pretty late into Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve here on the ManokAdobo stream. And if you're not caught up, I'm about to like really big spoil you with the summary of what happened last time. Besides Sholmes accidentally dyeing his hair red, not accidentally, that was on purpose. And it wasn't dye, he actually like chemically changed his hair roots to produce red pigment. It's wild and also probably not safe. Call me Sherlock Holmes. You can't do that, that's copyright. Oh no. If only, if only. But yeah, welcome on in. We're in the trial of Case 4 of the Great Ace Attorney and Great Ace Attorney 2, and I will say this. So many Ace Attorney tropes are happening right now that I did not expect to happen so soon. One part Monkey's Paw Wish, another part me asking myself, end of the game, what is Case 5 gonna look like if we already have a major character death, we already have prosecutor of the game being blamed for it, if we already have old friend turned prosecutor for this case. I warned y'all, there were gonna be spoilers. Biggest spoiler of all. The good boy, Inspector Gregson, is dead! I am still not over that. What does it imply? What does it mean? It means nobody is safe. And we gotta get to the bottom of this in court. Oh, so well, let's get into the game. I will say, though, first of all, the title screen that it's giving me right now is the jail, so that, you know, what inspires adventure more than, oh, here, have a jail cell. Let's load it up. Twisted Karma Trial, Part 1. I've got theories. I've got many theories out of what happened after the last investigation. I've probably already given hints as to what I think is going on, but I'm gonna say it's not a coincidence that this murder happened now while we were investigating some other missing person case altogether. 2nd November, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. You find it interesting Edgeworth has essentially been decomposited into Van Zeeks and Asogi. Yeah, that's one thing I was trying to get at a little bit. Van Zeeks and the way he handles law in general. Like, he's always looking towards the truth, even if it means being a little haughty and uptight about it. And Asogi being the old friend who's turned to the other side for his own personal reasons. Or amnesia, one of those. There's that old familiar feeling again. The crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no. It's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. The fact that my defendant is Van Zeeks. It's just that musk he gives off, you know? It's his cologne. His natural cologne emitted by his sweat pores. Wait a minute. Right away, we got a raid. Soul Sapphire, that means you've gone on for quite a while. Long time no see. Can we get a shout out for Soul? If you're just coming in, beware of big spoilers for the Great Ace Attorney 2. We're late into the game, and we are... I'm not kidding. Like, big stuff is happening. We're on Case 4 if you don't know, so feel free to jump on out. But thank you for the raid, Soul. Can we get a shout out for Soul Sapphire? And by that I mean I'm gonna type it myself. Never mind, Soul, thank you. I appreciate it for taking care of that. Welcome everybody. Soul's late into Persona 4. It's a very fun time. I love the music during the January segment of that game. It's very nice, so welcome on in. Yeah. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. I think so. can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. Surprise, we're defending Van Zeeks. It tends to happen in Ace Attorney games. We just end up defending the prosecutor of the game. Yeah, no, it's tradition at this point. Who knew it started 100 years ago, huh?
A little more courtesy, if you please.
Oh my, I do apologize.
If you don't know me, I like to play lots of Nintendo games, or games where I do voice acting, as you can see.
However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary.
What do you mean?
I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has been selected.
What? But I wanted to see a jury. Is it just this trial that doesn't have a jury? Why? It can't be leaked to the public?
A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like
Japan.
the trial of the professor 10 years ago.
That too. A closed court. Oh, hi Sholmes, I see your hair's back to normal. Hey, that happened last time. Sholmes dyed his hair red in order to try to join a red-headed gentleman's club. Not that kind of gentleman's club, wait a minute. Maybe I should rephrase that. He tried to join a club that paid its members money just for having red hair. Which apparently is a thing from a Sherlock Holmes book. Traditional court, let's go. Nate, welcome on in, good to see you. Worst Company says, you can word it like this. Everyone has their own Edgeworth. Oh yeah, you're right. Ryunosuke has two! Like the only person not to have an Edgeworth is Edgeworth. Well... Wouldn't you say that Edgeworth's is Phoenix? Also, I haven't played Investigations 2, so for all we know, he gets an Edgeworth in that game. Do we count his dad? His dad was also an Edgeworth.
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Mr. Sholmes! No, I usually, explain where I get my voices for characters from. I never explained where I got Sholmes' voice from. It started in the first grade Ace Attorney game. I tried to voice him like Herschel Layton. Like, Luke, my dear boy. This is no mere inheritance dispute. But over time, he just proved himself to be more and more insane, so I just ramped it up and up and up until it became...
Have you made a note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree.
So basically, yeah, Professor Layton on cocaine.
Something like that.
To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, a lot did happen yesterday. I'm trying to block a lot of it out of my mind. I completely forgot about your little hair problem. You can tell the gravity of the situation when Sholmes' bright red and or blue hair was the least of Ryunosuke's concerns.
Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem, is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion.
I thought he was gonna stop right there.
Is to another a day of drinking. Just drink my troubles away.
He would.
You've no idea how my stomach ails me this morning.
So basically a hangover. Sprint says, you're captivated by Tales of Arise. I saw you playing the demo. How was it? It looks absolutely Tales-like, but also modernized. It looks great. I love how they animated the party chat. I wish Dragon Quest would get that treatment. It kinda has it in 11, but you're just kinda like talking to the 3D model. It's so dynamic. Heck, I want Yakuza Like a Dragon sequel to be like that too. That'd be great.
Oh dear, how awful for you.
They've run out of jury character models. Capcom only had so much budget. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Hey, look. How often do you see them in the same room, let alone standing next to each other? I had this outlandish theory in the first game that Sholmes and Van Zeeks were actually the same person because they kinda have similar face shapes and you rarely ever see them in the same room. But now I know that to be very false.
And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim.
I guess you could call it vim. It might also just be wine. How many glasses of his bottles of wine did Van Zeeks drink before this trial, I wonder?
And are you? I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital.
I can't believe they respect each other. You just never expect it.
And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. It is your rapid consumption of alcohol. Oh, to drink as many glasses of wine as you do in one day. I assure you, Sholmes, I do not drink that much by choice. It's this accursed Nipponese lawyer. He drives me to do so. Then we also have that in common. We drink in celebration of Naruhodo at my flat.
The alcohol is what done his hair back to normal. Of course, of course. It is a solvent, after all.
What an honor, and that would be... Your eye for a good lawyer, sir.
Mr. Sholmes,
After all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind. My own. See, look at me standing behind him. What are you trying to say?
he takes credit for any and all of my discoveries.
I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper.
It's Ace Attorney. What other kind would it be?
Oh, so stop touching my jacket. I just had that dry cleaned. Sorry.
Sorry to barge in.
Yeah, I knew it. Mikotoba. Gina! What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose.
Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium?
It's been postponed, so I have some free time.
Gee, I wonder why the postponement. Can't be that, Lord Strongheart may be a little busy with today's events, huh? Jeez, he was so excited for it, too. Brent was worried about how edgy the plot was. Well, yeah, no. What used to be just straight up, excuse me. What used to be straight up stereotypically edgy in the mid-2000s has now become nostalgia in this day and age, so maybe they're just trying to go for that. We've already passed, the realm of 80s nostalgia and, had plenty of 90s nostalgia. Is it time for mid-2000s nostalgia? I'm not sure. I'll be very scared when that day comes.
I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there's some fruits to see. No fruits here. Sorry. Maybe some dried fruit.
Otto,
Oh, yes, Gina.
why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone says it was him what killed the boss.
I'm sorry, Gina. But I just don't believe that. Gina, I'm on your side. Trust me. I want to find Gregson's killer. But we can't just go around blaming the first people we see. We have to find the truth. And if you really are on the side of justice, then you'll let me do this.
Well, if it wasn't him, who was he?
I don't know that yet.
I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him.
Well, if it comes to that, then God indeed help him. But I don't think we'll be needing to be pious today.
Fiery eyes indeed.
Always time for a naughty's nostalgia.
Very naughty.
Hammy, welcome on in. Nice pointing.
Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing.
Eh?
At least, that may be some solace to the deceased.
Whoever the culprit is. Oh. I can't with this animation. Gina's always so full of vigor. To see her like this, it's heartbreaking.
Please! Otto! Can whoever did this? For the boss! Oh, Gina. I ain't feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta finally done this and make the rich pay!
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. All right, then. Here we go. Nah, he's not gonna say that happy. He's like, all right, then. Here we go.
It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Vinceeks.
One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And also his father was the mass murderer. Just let's not forget that. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, on course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. As long as Sholmes doesn't pull any of his nonsense, I should have no trouble there. He's serious when push comes to shove. 2nd November, 9:20 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh wow, there is nobody here. The mumblings are so quiet. They had a separate sound for that. Jeez, it's so weird to see this place so empty. No jury, no gallery, no justice, no hope.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct the fair and just trial of the defendant, Baroque Van Zieks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord.
The prosecution is more than ready.
Oh, there is a gallery. There's just not much of them. Why is Sholmes wearing a posture correction harness? Because, he's got a bad back. He's getting on in years, and he kind of threw it out doing one of his fancy poses in the middle of a windowsill. Yeah, no, another one of his inventions. And also he's wearing the DLC costume. Everybody is. Look, Susato and Ryunosuke. Though, it kind of parallels the costume Asogi has. Like, it's not his school uniform. It's the costume he's been given now that he's been in Europe under a new identity. So in a way, we're dressed appropriately.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder.
The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions through the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present.
Who's all that in the gallery, then?
By Her Majesty's direct orders.
The Queen. How will that work, my lord?
The burden of our arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today. It will fall upon me to climb down here from my lofty chair and press each one of these buttons as I see fit. It's a lot of work, but somebody has to do it.
Sir, can't you declare judgment from up there?
Well, I would love to, but we never installed a button on my chair.
Oh. Shelm's being like,
Well, what if I invent something that would push all of the buttons using a system of pulleys and levers?
Sholmes, we are quite okay without one of those.
Okay, just let me know. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
answers my question.
Members of the judiciary? Judiciary?
Members of the juicery?
Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. They came from outer space, or Japan, one of those.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma.
Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asuki, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city.
He's got an even bigger scroll than Van Zeeks uses. Compensating for something, are we?
The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson. Her name known very well indeed to this court.
Rest in fish and chips.
Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
The professor case?
How sure are you about the time of the incident?
Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time.
They all just had pocket watches, I see.
Well, it helps that the flat was just outside Big Ben.
Oh. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses.
But what if Big Ben was wrong? I have here a plan of the room.
Well, there's his body. The moment I see a picture of the crime scene, I am going to cry. Look at Gregson, reduced to an outline on the floor. He deserves better than that. He should at least get like a little 3D model, like a little doll.
The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range.
I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, counsel.
Autopsy report has been entered into the court record.
The murder...
That's not the judge talking.
The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim.
And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama.
Kirari.
Thanks for telling the truth. The owner was Kirari. Now, not content with poison killing people by poisoning. The poison wants revenge. The poison wants to kill with a gun.
Thanks, Kazuma, for not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord,
As I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The revolver, Ocelot. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabrum mounted on the wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. Now, my wondering is, why is that one candle so much longer than the others? Like, it hasn't been used. It hasn't been lit at all. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
Other ones kept burning. That makes sense. So, when he was shot, it had to have been at a time where, like... It had to have been at a time long enough before the body was found, such that the other candles kept burning, which would cast into doubt the time of death. Everyone is saying, oh, it happened right after 5, it happened right when Baruch Van Zieks was there with the body. No, it had to have happened way before that.
As you wish.
Again, stealing the judge's voice.
As you wish, my lord.
Crime scene 4 plan. Small street, where body of Inspector Gregson was found.
Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. Could very well be a pen name. But there is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot.
So, the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Who could they possibly call?
A name, please, Counsel.
Naturally, the accused himself. Oh, okay, sure. We never did hear his side of the story, did we? Lord Van Zieks! Not much more than, yes, I was there, don't know what happened. Just shrugs generally. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Oh, Kazuma, you innocent, innocent soul. If I had a dime for every prosecutor that lied in an Ace Attorney game, I'd have like 5 dimes.
Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand.
So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Baruch Van Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Asoki's opening precis? I did. It's alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord.
Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. You know that Kazuma always had that temple pointing animation. With that suit and ascot, he really does remind you of Edgeworth. The parallels to Edgeworth are very strong. Like, it has to be on purpose. If he bows at any point, please, once again fulfilling my monkey's paw wish, to add a few more references to Ace Attorney proper. Namely, why you were in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question. And what exactly took place?
I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth.
Good answer, good answer, good answer. Put it on the board.
I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it.
You really have that little faith in him? I swear he's been framed this entire time.
Your formal testimony, then, witness.
Oh, it's formal, alright. It can't get any more formal than this. Look at what he's wearing. Facts of the incident. The only way it could be more formal is if he had his wine glass and he was raising a pinky.
I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address.
Do tell, though. What do you mean? What about Gregson?
When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot.
It is so odd to see him from this angle. I know we've seen it before, but it's almost illegal. In the same way that seeing Asogi from the 3/4 angle is also illegal.
A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
Appeared? Like out of nowhere? Maybe from like a trap door, maybe? It has to have been a big old setup. But why wouldn't he have noticed it? The gunshot had to have been to draw people's attention, both to create witnesses from outside the building who wouldn't have had to see it, and both to catch the attention of people outside as well as Baroque Van Ziekses. He had to have been killed. He had to have been killed way before then. The testimony was the whole truth. This is cool. You damn right it is me, man.
It was.
So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants. And moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. He's not trying to excuse, he's just trying to tell the truth. Yeah, Kazuma's got very big early Edgeworth vibes right now.
I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed.
Singular isn't the word, it's laughable. Ah, shut up, Kazuma, come on. We're not trying to appease ya. In fact, I'm betting this is one of those times where the prosecutor is gonna contribute very little to the case at hand. You hear that, Kazuma? You're not adding much more than Prosecutor Ouchie himself. Okay, that might be a little mean, but we'll see. We'll see if he starts playing by our rules. What's got into Kazuma? He's not behaving like himself at all. Appease.
Very well, then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This cross is very fine, made of wood. I like it a lot.
Not that cross. Cross-examine the witness.
Oh. The facts of the incident. I imagine in British courts there's like just a Catholic cross just on the wall somewhere. Probably. I mean, the judge does believe in God, apparently.
My lord!
Or just believe in lords, maybe. Alright, let's press things. I don't think he's lying, so I'm just gonna see what else I can get out of him. You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
What? Sorry? You're in court, sir. You are at liberty to say.
I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in the case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand, then, that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance.
How?
I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary.
That's probably not illegal, but that's just not cool, man. That's his secret diary. There's stuff in there about things. Britain left the Catholic Church about 500 years ago. Well, I mean, I'm sure the government did, but I'm saying, like, I don't know, maybe it's just in here somewhere. I don't know, I just made that up.
The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry.
You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zeeks? I was aware of the possible consequences.
Hey, he's only just doing what Phoenix Wright would do. As long as you find the necessary evidence, then whatever you trespass into is totally fine. Even if you take evidence away from the crime scene. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim. And yet, you refuse to tell the court why. It's a little sus. You sussy baka. No, don't use the word baka on him just because you're also Japanese. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Why did I ever think I could defend this man? Because you believe in justice, sir. Van Zeek's continuing the trend of not helping that much as a prosecutor in the defense chair. For sure. Is there any new evidence, by the way? I should make sure to examine it if I can. There's the floor plan. Nothing there. Autopsy report. Tobias Gregson, male, 45, British, time of death. Time of death. It kind of just says time of death. Wait, it doesn't say 5 p.m. at all. Coroner Maria Gory. Very gory indeed. Cause of death, victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Court march, bullet exited body from behind, which means it was able to hit the candelabrum. Additional observation, caliber of gun matches standard issue firearms for members of the judiciary. So it could have very well. Pretty good time to just stop all this evidence and not look at anything else, just in case spoilers. But let me give Prismaya a shout out. Welcome on in, Prismaya. I know I've seen you around. How you doing? How's it going? If you're in an ad, let me know. Ooh, Persona 4 Golden. You know, I saw on Twitter you were starting that. Welcome on in, everybody rating from the Ms. Prismaya from the Prismaya stream. My name is Chris. I play a lot of Nintendo games and RPGs. Right now we're playing Ace Attorney, the great Ace Attorney 2. We're pretty late in the game, so watch out for spoilers. Feel free to jump on out if you don't want to get spoiled. We are in big spoiler territory right now. And, yeah, welcome on in, everybody. Hope you had a good time. How far are you in Persona 4, if I may ask? KissShot9, welcome on in. Gentle Routes, hello. Yeah, you like the raid alert. Made it myself. Thank you. I do like, as I said, Nintendo and RPGs. Earthbound, of course, being one of my favorite games. Yeah, we're investigating a murder of a character. Was murdered in a seemingly empty room in the outskirts of London. Seems to me that seems to be a room that they themselves rent out when they want to be alone, when they want to consider their own options. So it could very well mean that the person in question was leading a double life. I'm trying not to reveal too much because, again, spoilers. I gave everybody a chance to drop on out if you don't want spoilers, so welcome on into the stream. Oh, you're in that dungeon, huh? That'll definitely stay in your mind for a while. Although, I say that's a pretty big turning point in the game as far as, patterns being broken. I like it. I just like the game a lot, even if it is a little dated at this point. I still think it handles a lot of things a lot more personally than Persona 5 does, I'll say. And that's why I just like the general themes of it. I love Persona 4. I hope you definitely enjoyed. I think this is your first time playing, right? But yeah, we're just, Hold it! We're in the middle of court, so sit back, enjoy the show. Hope you all are ready for some voice acting. Have you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything.
No light means no candles were lit. But at 5 p.m. the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. But Ryunosuke, the windows are boarded up.
The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside.
Oh, you've played P4 like 5 times. Oop. Kinda same. I've only played it once, but that's enough to like leave an impact on me at least. Great Ace Attorney, I feel is starting to give me the same sort of impact. If you're a fan of Ace Attorney, I greatly recommend it. Like, really, I recommend playing this yourself if you haven't. Probably the best story in a lot of the games ever since the original trilogy.
I wouldn't have noticed that the victim was already lying on the floor. I would not have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain.
Look at him, only saying what he's sure of.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a small desk in the room just here.
Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. Prismaya's gotta go to sleep. Hey, no problem. Hope to see you soon playing P4, and hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah, have a nice sip of wine.
When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate.
And what did you find?
Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Saying there might have been a tripwire of some sort?
A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor.
So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room.
But you say it was very dark in there?
Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another's presence.
Aha! Then it could be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room.
No, that's out of the question.
I'm trying to help you here, man. Oh, that is still also very important information. Oh. Well, damn. Just unfaltering. Hands still outstretched.
Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder.
This is going from bad to worse. Could have been one of those cap guns, you know?
And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up.
Why do they always pick it up? First Edgeworth picking up the gun on the boat, and then Ryunosuke himself picking up the the gun in the dining room, and then Van Zeke's picking up the gun in the room. At least he has gloves.
Presumably, then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not.
What?
The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder.
See, here's the problem. He's probably the most accurate witness we'll get on this exact subject, but because he's the defendant, the prosecution has no reason to believe him. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Probably long gone by then.
Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that.
Oh.
Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. Ah!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume.
That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Oh, I hope they sell something like fish and chips out on the street. Oh, it must have been Tobias Gregson's favorite.
Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot.
A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler walk into a courtroom. This is not a joke. This is my life right now. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Oh yes, I hear a gunshot coming from that building. Let's immediately run inside up to the floor that we think it came from and inspect as soon as possible. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Oh no, slap instead of the slam. That means Ryunosuke's not too confident.
Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she?
They burst through the door with some force, it would seem.
They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process.
But you're supposed to be the Reaper? Only by rumor.
The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hand and fled.
A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred.
Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
You know, I hope at some point Van Zeeks just raises his leg up onto the witness stand. Just right up on there. As per usual, just like with a glass of wine and everything.
It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear?
I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth.
I'm thinking fell from the ceiling through a trapdoor, and the sound of the body falling was disguised by the gunshot.
As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and suddenly there it was.
A lejection! Overruled. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand?
At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came in first. Nothing more.
I see. Van Zeek's leg slams the witness stand. Monkey's paw wish added. How can that turn into a monkey's paw, huh? After he's declared guilty? Uh-oh.
After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
What? Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Baroque Van Zeeks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? Sprint's gonna alert to sleep. Have a good night, Sprint.
Good gracious, Counsel! The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now, he claims he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark.
That's correct.
And do you have evidence to the contrary? No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? It you examine. Typo. If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
So they're noticing what I noticed. They're going to argue that the candelabra was lit at the time Gregson was shot. But therein lies the rub. I'm saying that because the distance is so different, he had to have been shot long before Baroque Van Zeeks got there. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because the particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Oh, that's right. Also, is this a new court theme? It's very fancy, I like it. Yuri, welcome on in. Revival of the Prosecutor. 4 teams in total. Ha. Very nice. Gee, Kazuma, why does Capcom let you have 4 themes? Man, Ryunosuke has like, what, 2? Suzato gets 2 as well. But Kazuma? No, he's too important.
That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out.
Evil friend theme, though. Oh, he's not evil, though. He's just misguided.
But the other 2 candles would still have been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum. And the accused's claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie.
There's more?
Oh yes, there's more. For 3 payments in 1999, the accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before.
What could you possibly argue for this?
That's the truth! In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual.
His gun?
No. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings.
Yes, that's right. We saw it too.
It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases. The oldest of which was from 10 years ago.
So, what does that have to do with... You're saying Baroque Van Zieks brought those in? Well, I argue that it was Inspector Gregson all along. 10 years ago, this is starting to sound familiar. Only now? Is it starting to sound familiar? How many phrases? I should have started at a 10 years ago counter at this point.
And there's a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed? What is this common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Baroque Van Zieks.
Doesn't prove nothing. All of them?
And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord!
So it's a Reaper board, so what?
Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but what was Gregson doing in there? Assuming he's the one that posted all that stuff on the board.
Oh no!
In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout and his base of operations.
The Reaper's hideout?
And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Got one part of that right. Very backwards. Again, assuming that Baroque Van Zieks is the Reaper. He is rumored to be the Reaper, but he's not responsible for those deaths. This is all tenuous evidence. If I were Edgeworth right now, no, I'd be the one pointing all this out and saying this proves absolutely nothing. You have no evidence. Stop with your BS. Phoenix Wright. Clearly. Kazuma got those reverse Edgeworth colors. It's not, now we're just playing like spot the number of connections Kazuma has to Edgeworth. Yeah, Yurina, yeah, we've definitely been observing so many different little connections over this whole game, for sure. Especially right now. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Conjecture. How dare.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand.
What?
Oh, I so wanna, like, just shove evidence in Kazuma's face right now. Like, everything he said can be refuted just by one strong link. I just don't know if we have that link yet.
Order! 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 Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Rook Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered a great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
Well, what did you expect? Can we get another witness in here, please? There's inconsistencies because the facts are wrong!
All I have done is state the truth as I know it.
Kazuma's done a brilliant job as ever. No? No? This is a sham. Kangaroo Court. He's drawn on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. It really does feel like that, doesn't it? This is actually pretty good writing. He's acting just like Phoenix Wright would, like an experienced Phoenix Wright in the modern games. He's building everything on conjecture and hoping I have nothing against it. Now wait a minute, you don't use my strategy against me, Asogi. You taught me that strategy. Yeah. Lady VO2, welcome on in. Yeah, just hope you enjoy the show. Izuku, got it.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just show the court as evidence.
Time to examine the heck out of this thing.
I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. Daddle-a-doo. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. Well, I'd like to call your bluff. Eventually. Let's see, what's on this thing?
There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there?
This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age, look!
Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here.
Oh. It's the same red-headed league advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out.
And do you remember? There's a red hair piece at the scene too.
Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the red-headed league then? Something tells me there's more to oh, hello. There's more to this than we think. At least more to this than Naruhodo thinks. I may have noticed something earlier last stream that has helped me jump to a couple of conclusions. I won't really talk about it until the game gets there, though.
Oh, what's this?
Who's Phoenix's ancestor here again? Naruhodo. Ryuichi Naruhodo. No, wait. Ryuichi's Phoenix Wright's name. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Sorry. That's him, right here, on the left here. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I don't remember if it's been confirmed exactly, like if he's his great-great-great-grandfather or something, but it's about 100 or so years, give or take a little bit more, before Ace Attorney 1, and this is the adventures of Ryunosuke in Great Britain as a lawyer who came from Japan. And if you don't know, we're very late into the second game, so if you're just learning the story now, I urge you to probably start somewhere earlier. Like, feel free to play the game yourself, but if you don't mind spoilers, then welcome on in.
Mr. Naruhodo, look!
Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like a handprint. Also, welcome on in, Yellow Pikachu.
And the color! That's blood, isn't it?
Either that or hair dye.
Oh dear, how disturbing.
Diddle-a-doo. But why? We'll find out soon enough. Nothing else. Oh, very suspicious indeed. Very suspicious. All right, who's your witness, man? AmericaOnlineAble.com, welcome. How you doing? Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. Ryunosuke being like, I thought I was Phoenix's ancestor. Who's Phoenix? I don't know, but I had this strong feeling, like I can see into the future. This man called Phoenix Wright in a blue suit, just bluffing his way to victory. Oh, I just feel it.
They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember.
Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room.
Very well, lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord.
Like, yeah, of course they weren't gonna believe him. Is that little Miss Red Riding Hood? Right over there? Middle guy kind of reminds me of Usopp from One Piece as well. Wow! So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Man, I haven't even heard a single word out of Red Riding Hood over here, but I already expect her to be like a secret, absolute, bitter, like, angry at the world person who will just snap at the smallest sign of defiance. I'm just getting big April May vibes. Sorry, I've been hurt before, apparently. Do I want to give this guy Usopp voice? Do I want to give this guy Usopp voice? Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're just free and easy. Settle what we like. Live where we want to live.
I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street?
Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know. Jaunty little titbits? Whoa, Ryunosuke, watch out. You're lucky that this is a mature audience's stream. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your ginnel it is. Ginnel? Ginnel. 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less. Sure. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Titbits is really the old British way of spelling it. Ah. Oh my. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is. Why do I have to pay?
Pay the man, counsel.
You can't demand that of me. Is this part of court proceedings? All right, 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now you got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Slight Street have just had twins. I care why? Is that it? Incredible info, incredible. No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread, but that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. Can I charge people 8 pence for it? Got a deal going on here. I've got more, you know. You want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. Not anymore, I'm not. Classic Naruhodo family curse, paying for everything, from ramen to burgers. I am curious, yes, including Larry Butts' legal fees as well. I do wonder how much money Phoenix Wright actually makes as a lawyer. Since he does so many cases pro bono, like, he obviously does not get any money from the likes of, say, Maya and Larry, but say when he defended Edgeworth, when he defended Will Powers, anybody who's in any way famous, he had to have gotten a hefty sum from those, I hope. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Look, those are gossiping lips, dude. It means that any secrets that pass by those are sure to be filtered to be the absolute truth. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. Oh, that is a bruise. I'm not gonna judge what you're into, man. Just, you don't have to mention it if it's not relevant to the court. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by, and what do you sell?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, isn't it?
Not really.
I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids.
Is that safe? Hey, whoa. Kss, hot.
6 pence a pop. What do you say?
I'd say, oh, I'd rather pay for the fireworks than the information. Edworth and Trucy pay for everything. Oh yeah, Trucy actually makes money off her magic shows, right? You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
You can't be advocating for this. That's more than arson. That's just straight up detonation.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Wanna borrow 6 pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one here in court?
Pay the lady.
No!
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the entire courtroom.
Venus, that is Ace Attorney 5. Let's wait for 100 or so years. Let's not blow up the courtroom just yet. Please. And also, that's Japanifornia's courtroom. Imagine if they do a thing in Ace Attorney 7 where they find an actual hamburger restaurant. They gotta localize it to ramen. Again.
Try the woman.
Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, counsel.
Alright, I'll buy one.
Then I'll hold you in contempt of court for having explosives in the courtroom. Wah!
This is entrapment.
Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence.
Oh, big. Don't like that. 600? I'm not made of cash, man.
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. Who do you think I am, Ted Tonate? And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell? And why do I have a feeling it costs 6 pence?
I'm not the thinker, me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think.
No. I can't just use my regular old man voice. No, I already used a Popeye voice, though. I was about to go,
I'm a thinker, me. I am what I am, and it's all what I am.
going back to old.
Because I stand there on the street watching the world go on about me. They call me the Observator. Join me as I ponder the question, what if?
Nobody wants to watch that series, old man. Gotta pay Disney Plus for that. Get out of it, old man! Everyone calls you Sandwich, and you know it! Sandwich? Earl Sandwich? So, you don't actually sell anything.
Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and I think what it means. Hot. Actual hero. I don't actually sell anything now, to come to think of it.
Pity. No more purchases today, please. I only brought 15 pence.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime. Well, I'll be beggared, though, I thought. Just between us.
Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw.
All I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real?
I defer to William Shakespeare. 'Tis a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury signifying nothing.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
From initial impressions, I don't think any of these are bad people. I think they just caught up in this whole situation. Or may have been... I get this sneaking suspicion that they may have been paid to be witnesses. Why else would they just rush on into a crime scene, you know? Are they that good? Are they that desperate for a scoop? I'm sorry, being a witness doesn't pay, though.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip wouldn't wait to go and see what happened.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared after death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
I mean, there was one, he was just dead. Do I command William Chancer to remember? It's okay, you're not in court today. Also, you're supposed to be in jail. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Marok Van Zeeks.
I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. I've made myself a tidy sum already, me.
But wait, the room was just one of the several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. Could have shot right through the floor. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied. The entire building? Oh, dude's flicking his lip.
Of course they are. They're small, damn dirty, and expensive to boot.
Not even Soseki Natsume would want to live there. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
Next question I want to ask the prosecution to explain. If Hugh Boone owns the property, why haven't we called him to the stand? Why haven't we found this person? Because I suspect he doesn't actually exist.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No. You know, it actually really sucks that we don't have a jury for this case, because they're one of my only sources of knowledge outside of the evidence presented by the prosecution. And now that there's no jury, I don't get the summation argument anymore. Uh-oh. Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. Oh, I'm so glad he's smarter than the judge from the main trilogy. I have to break down. I have to break down. Ah! This testimony, somehow. I have to look at the smallest thing that can contradict the facts. Let me think through the evidence again. It has been a while since last night, of course. What's interesting is of course, it's not really interesting, it's just obvious, because that's how Ace Attorney usually works. I have all of this evidence pertaining to the missing Mr. Vigil case. Although, right now we're concerned with the murder of Tobias Gregson and the Reaper. So you'd think none of this would be in any way relevant, but you know Ace Attorney, you know how it works. They'll have their time. Dun-dun, dun-dun. What's interesting about the autopsy report is time of death isn't actually listed. Everything else corroborates. Let's see. Nothing particularly new here. It is interesting that there's a bloody handprint on the board. Oh, the firecrackers, though. Let's take a look at these. I asked for a bow, got a bow. Wait, I missed it. I didn't see. Damn it. I'll have to wait till he does it again.
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Did I really pay that much?
Shall we find out?
But she said it could blow up the courtroom. All right, that was a fairly sizable bang. We just detonated the evidence. Susato, we needed that.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo.
All thank you to not almost kill us all.
It sounded almost exactly like
a gunshot. Goes off like a gunshot. How about that? It feels very familiar. When have we heard that before in Ace Attorney? Like, that wasn't a gunshot. It was just fireworks. Am I just having deja vu? Am I just going deja vu? 88 miles per hour in my Hachiroku?
hold it.
What's a gunshot? Oh, you know, it's a shot of whiskey, and you just drink it so fast, it's like pew, pew, pew. When you say they, what do you mean exactly? Who? Who do you mean? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks? I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain. Oh, look at the mouse again. Pretty much the entire reason why I use this costume. Wow. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. Maybe it was someone dressed up as Inspector Gregson just to fool all these people? Wait. Oh, went into the building in general. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I've forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? Who has bright red hair? Not Gregson.
Yeah, his hair really was red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
With the wig, maybe.
Fiery red mob still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is.
Don't stare at the sun too long. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? Yeah, won't you listen to chum? Aye, he was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well.
But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, Ryunosuke, don't argue down that line. It'll only lead towards pain and suffering. Now, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph. This photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Well, sure is daylight, that is the wig. How does my color blindness work? Well, just from a description, I'm red-green colorblind, but like, speaking from my personal experience, what happens is, I see colors, it's just, sometimes it doesn't immediately, it doesn't immediately click with me that what I'm looking at is red. I just have to guess based on context, like, yeah, I know trees have green leaves, but it might be fall, so if the tree is, if the leaves are bright, then they're probably red, not green. Like, here, I was told it was red, so my brain is like, yeah, that's red. But if you just showed me, not even this, but, like, zoom in like this, and then show me, like, a month ago, like, here, what color is this? I'm like, maybe red, maybe green. The photograph quality doesn't help, really. Like, it has a slight sepia tone to it. I'm sure his tie is green, right? That is, like, very obviously green. It's something about, like, the brightness of it that helps me make that educated guess. When they're darker, it makes it harder to like, look with my eyes and just see. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. Hi, Miki, welcome on in. Nice glitter. And a red hairpiece. Yeah, I'm going to press everybody first. Since it's early on in the stream, I'm just gonna go ahead and see all the dialogue I can. Kind of orangey, very fiery red. But, okay, from the picture, this picture right here looks very different. It's a more darker, deeper red.
Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say.
This is not about how much drip he has. This is how much blood dripped from him when he was shot.
The photograph will be submitted as evidence. Please, counsel.
World's cutest gamer, welcome on in. Thanks for the raid. Can we get a shout out? Standard warning, even though you've been here before. Anybody who's new, who doesn't want to get spoiled for Great Ace Attorney 2, feel free to jump on out. Welcome on in. My name is Chris. How you doing? Go follow World's Cutest Gamer. How you doing? Nice desk. No, don't object to that. Alright, I see I'm gonna have to do it myself. Thanks for the raid. Everhood, tell me all about it. How is it? Hope you had a fun time, and I hope you enjoy the stream. This stream, but also your own. I'm gonna try to get through this fast because I'm getting more and more raids during Great Ace Attorney, and I can only imagine it's probably really annoying for the people trying to come on, just want to watch the story. I'm sorry, I like to address the raids, but I need to like keep a pace going, you know? Gremlins R Us, welcome on in. And what became of the trunk that red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? Wait, what trunk? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared? What? What do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? See, that's the other thing. I'm not paying as much attention to the testimony because I keep getting interrupted. Who mentioned the trunk? Somebody said, oh, okay, Gossip was saying he had a big trunk with him as well. Okay. What, do you expect us to be watching the building every second, do ya?
We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about it.
Everhood's great. They do the Undertale thing in a fun way. Oh, geez. I don't... Describe something else about it. Because I don't want... As much as possible, I don't want games to fall to the trap of, like... Ahaha, another quirky Earthbound-inspired RPG, whoa! Because that description is getting so much flack on Twitter right now, because it does feel like a lot of games are doing it. But that shouldn't, like, define the entirety of a game. What do you like about it? What do you like about the story, say, or the presentation? I hear you like the music, that's pretty good.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Hold it! By which presumably you mean the gunshot.
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like?
Because they sound like the fireworks.
But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it?
And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building?
That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang, it went. Just like that.
Like a Big Bang. And it all started with a Big Bang. I've never actually watched The Big Bang Theory. Just putting that out there. Bazinga. Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? That's what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we get the message. Now he's just turning into Beetle. Thank you! Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state. And then, bang! It just came into being. Thank you, William Shakespeare. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to live after he discovered a secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime.
Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct? Just before we get through all this, let me just double check. Nothing that directly contradicts anything so far. The red hair talk was in the middle of all their conversation. Hold it! So when Gossip ran to see what had happened, do you go too?
Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see? All the signs are that I can't move very well.
So you're saying it took you a while to get to the scene of the crime? You were away behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. Oh, that's probably why he's called Sandwich. Sandwich. What a great burden you bear. I needed to be more sarcastic. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible that you and I have met before? Was he part of a jury before? He kind of reminds me of not the police officer from the museum, but maybe a different police officer? Venus, Gossip. I'm not getting any other names other than their street names, apparently. Let's see. Everhood is a rhythm game. Visuals get intense. Hard to keep up with story. Music visualized during the battles. Okay. See, when you put rhythm into it, that sells me, because I love games that incorporate a rhythm element. But they actually have to do it well. They can't just pretend to have, like, rhythm-based combat. They actually had to, like, follow the beat, actually have some sort of musical style to them. Maybe, like, Parappa the Rapper, like, encourage you to freestyle it, something like that. Crack the egg into the bowl.
I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I sign, therefore I am.
No, I've seen them before. Yeah, omnibus driver, jury from the first game. So you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then? Dude, shaking more than Ryunosuke's eyes. Whoa. Calm down, you're gonna take off.
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo.
Monka S. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. You know, working with Magnus McGilded, I don't blame him. Man's a baraka.
Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widower's arms is just there.
Oh dear, you've made him hide behind a sign.
Life is full of surprises. It's a small world after all.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
Hold it! So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right?
That I was, kicked the door open like a professional, I did, and yelled out, "What's going on here?"
I believe you mean what's going on?
Lord Vincey's claims all he heard was a man scream, though.
He probably just went like, and was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Huh. Okay, so Asogi may have some corroborating testimony, but that just furthers my theory that the actual murder must have occurred at some point before Baroque Van Zieks actually got there. Because what they saw must have been the real murder, and then the trap had to be sprung and set up for Van Zieks to actually arrive, and then have that same situation forced upon him with Tobias's already dead body. That's why the time of death is in contention. That's why it's not an autopsy report.
Really? And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
I see. Even though Lord Van Zieks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
The next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
Right beside the body. But Van Zieks says he was on his way towards the desk. The accused, Baroque Van Zieks.
That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no livery-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold hard stare myself.
Now, I know I could pursue this, but I'm going to see this testimony through just to see what he continues with. And was there anyone else in the room at the time?
No, of course not. Not at first.
His animations are absolutely perfect.
Well, then this old stiff came waddling along beside me, of course. Only him, mind.
I can't handle stairs so well, as you can imagine, especially on the way up.
And you couldn't just fail to see someone? It was a bit dingy in there, I grant you. Well, there were the candles on the wall and the lamp on the table.
There was nowhere anyone could have been hiding. You mark my eyes.
In due time, Ryunosuke. In due time, we'll find the truth.
Hold it!
I'm curious why Dr. Scythe's daughter has not made an appearance in the story as of yet. I don't think she's going to be relevant to this trial, which means she'll probably play a big part in the next episode, in Case 5. Because this is only Case 4, and we're already doing all this standard Ace Attorney endgame stuff. World's Cutest Gamer, by the way, thanks again for that raid, and that game sounds cool. It really does. I gotta go check it out sometime. So you didn't run into the room with your friends?
I'm not that sort of girl.
What does that mean? Sorry? 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 Sorry?
I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there.
Someone has some sense. Alright, I see.
Old Lippy and the witch ran in there, and then I heard an old lady scream.
Old lady scream?
Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd strike my honor on it.
I wondered what on earth was going on.
Which is when you went to find a policeman.
And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, eh?
Why is that police officer not here? I have questions. It's all pretty suspicious, like a very fine-tuned set of witnesses saying only exactly what the prosecution wants to say. I still don't understand what Sandwich's board is supposed to say. It's like 9 out of 100, 8 out of 100, just a weird character out of 100, out of 0?
Just between us, that copper's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper.
I've never felt more uncomfortable in all my life.
Even more uncomfortable than the omnibus drive.
And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe.
Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. You really think he'd let himself be caught like that? If he is the Reaper? I can't find any holes in this testimony. Better bring my drill.
I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Naruhodo.
The truth is, though, the combined testimony is fairly damning.
Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with the statements, do there?
Well, you know. There's something that somebody's noticed for me. Mr. Sandwich, you may be the key. The key to our salvation.
Hold it!
Let's just fast forward through all of this. What was the statement again? Fella collapsed on the floor. No. First thing you noticed. Wait, maybe it was a different... Okay, no, yeah. What's wrong with that, sir?
Excuse me.
Was he not staring the Reaper in his face? Was he just a lily-livered coward? Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? Not a sentence I never thought I'd say.
There's really nothing to me. Empty-laid I am, just 2 slices with no middle.
A bread sandwich.
Sir, I don't know what you could want with me.
Sir, you are our only lead. Please tell me you have something. I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
What I think is, we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers.
That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich.
When he saw the Reaper, He fell clean over on his backside.
Pratfall, eh? That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar! I told you to keep that a secret.
He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say.
As soon as he saw the Reaper. So maybe he never actually saw Gregson, or never got a good look at him. Oh, maybe the wig was to make their story sound more believable. Sandwich with the existential crisis. I slice, therefore I am. Is a sandwich still a sandwich if there's nothing in the middle, or is it just but two slices of bread? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Let's not go there. If a hot dog is not a sandwich because there's a piece of bread connecting the buns, what if you break the buns apart and then put them together? Is it a sandwich? What if you flatten the sausage? How far can it go before it transmogrifies? Mr. Gossip, is this true? The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Slippery with what?
Planted my hand in the filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck!
Nobody mentioned a pool of blood. What? Pool of blood?
Well, listen here. Even when I was sprawled onto the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold, hard stare. And don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. You say you got blood on your hand?
Gross. I did, I. Happens to the best of us at times, don't it? Doesn't it? So I was scared. So I slipped over. We can just keep it between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must.
What's with the steampunk outfit? What's up, Kamen Rider? How you doing? Mr. Gossip, this is a Wendy's, I mean a murder trial. It's fine, it's okay. It's steampunk because it's the 1900s/late 1800s. That's just the attire of now, and I love it so much. You want steampunk, you have Mr. Drebber from the last case. Man was like some sort of cyborg android made of clockwork. Pretty good.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
Oh, you're talking about my outfit. I forgot, you might not have seen it last time. It's a DLC outfit. Iris made it. There's one for me and one for Susato. It's very nice, and I think it's paralleling Kazuma's red and white attire, very reverse Edgeworth. So, the only thing that would have been absolutely perfect is if she made our suit a little more blue. Maybe white on the outside, blue on the inside.
No, I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor. Hold it!
On the floor? Why does the notice board have a bloody handprint then? Unless it used to be the floor? Some sort of trapdoor then?
You wiped your hand on the floor? Well, he wants blood on his hand, eh? It's horrible stuff, and they might have thought I'd done it. No tar!
And you didn't think that might be a problem? Tampering with evidence?
Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end, won't they?
Well, they shouldn't be, as part of the crime scene. Why was there no handprints on the floor?
Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us.
Is something wrong, Counsel?
No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all.
Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off. On the floor. The blood.
Okay, if I'm really gonna do Usopp's voice, I gotta bring it more into like a combination between my clown voice and Sonic the Hedgehog. You know why? Because Jason Griffith voiced both early Usopp from One Piece and also Sonic from the 4Kids dub of Sonic X. You can tell it's the same person. I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo? I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. Gotta go fast! Way past cool! Other Sonic the Hedgehog quote. Ba-ba-ba. I was mentioning earlier I got my copy of Sonic Colors Ultimate in the mail. The one that comes with the limited edition Baby Sonic keychain. It's clearly just leftover stock from the movie that came out last year, and they probably meant to distribute it in some other way, but couldn't really find the time or a good way. Either way, I'm okay with having it because even if it is buggy and weird, it'll make for a fun stream, maybe. Alright, notice board, let's see where this goes.
Objection!
I have no idea where, but let's humor the thought. So you wiped out the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting?
Objection!
You didn't object when he said it. You're only objecting when I'm pushing it. If you listen, you'll find out. Prosecutor Asogi. Oh! Certainly there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint and blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Band's twisting.
Ah, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
If this handprint matches up with Mr. Gossip over here, that's proof positive. You're dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anywhere. Hot actual hero. I still don't get what Sandwich's board is supposed to say. Must be describing Kamen Rider. Hot actual hero in your area. What? The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. Oh, here I'm thinking it was this complicated, like, carousel system where the board itself just flipped over on this giant rotating thing that became the floor. No, it just fell, I guess. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Which means that in between the murder and the witnesses... In between the murder and Baroque being investigated, somebody must have propped the board back up. Just look at the floor plan of the room. Hero sandwich? I guess. I wonder if it said that in the original Japanese. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position, even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. That's the thing. He was at the doorway. I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. That's the point. That's how these things work, Asogi. You want to explain the contradiction? That's your job. My job is to point them out. You're really bad at this prosecutor thing. Nice desk in America Online. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel.
Don't think they're called sandwich boards in Japan. That's what I'm wondering. I mean, there could still very well be English puns. People in Japan are taught English and know enough to make, some puns out.
Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. I have? This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... The board must have moved by then. I don't think anybody's lying, and I don't think there's another handprint. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, It's upside down.
Good gracious, so it is! If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards.
What? What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. Here we go. What? Wait a minute. You're not supposed to turn this into something else. You're not supposed to turn it around in a courtroom. You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? And tell the court who. No. I just need to prove a shadow of a doubt. I'll work on from there. You know that better than anybody, Asogi. Man, we've never actually seen Asogi really do much in a court other than the time he was our assistant during that first case. Who's to say he actually is a good lawyer at all? I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point.
And that would be?
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. Oh no, it's gonna point us on the map and it's gonna ask us to say where that is. I'm not completely sure. Uh-oh.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court.
I can only think of two places.
At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
Well, if gossip isn't telling a lie, then it must be that he's actually... He's right, it was by the body, like right in front of it. Maybe that's why Baroque didn't see it, because the board was there covering it. Maybe? I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say, right about here.
Take that!
It was right here, my lord. That doesn't sound very specific.
Goodness! No, I'm afraid I don't quite see your logic.
Damn. I'm disappointed, Ryunosuke. In Japan, we're taught to have patience and respect for our elders. So until his lordship sees your logic, you will know your place is not moved from that spot.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts real bad.
How brilliant of Kazuma-sama! That almost sounded unreasonable at first, but he was just thinking of you!
Suzato, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Unreasonable, try unfathomable. Anyway, I think I have the answer now. I know my place, or rather, I know the board's place. Maybe I was a little too close to the body. Cause he said he fell over close to the body. Was it too close? If it's right here instead of right here, if it makes that much of a difference,
Take that!
I'm not... Yeah, okay. Sometimes, man. Sometimes. This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway?
If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. By heck! If the notice board had been here, the body wouldn't have been completely hidden from view. Would have been. And if the board was facing towards the body, it would have just looked like more floor. And the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
Look, Suzato, I know Kazuma's hot, but can't I at least, clean myself up? But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
That's true. Or, in his precise words...
Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
The door flew open, knocking over the board. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. Cause it was me that kicked the door open. Monkey paw curled. Has the monkey's paw curled in? For what wish specifically? You gotta tell me. I am now putting it upon the chat to show me some evidence. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That doesn't really explain how he fell, like, past the door and then onto the board, though. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious!
Yeah, my last wish was legjection. I don't see no leg up there. My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. The angles don't quite work out. Look at how far he's sticking out that booty.
Order! Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. I'm in suspense, as much as you guys are, probably. I'm following the logic threads. Wait a minute, is this what he saw? Yes, of course. It wasn't a gunshot. It was actually a massive chicken bullets, all falling from the sky at once.
Counsel, where are you going with this?
Don't just humor me for a second. Imagine a giant bullet falling from the sky.
You're just speaking nonsense.
The court does not accept this into evidence. Oh man, I thought for sure at least the fireworks lady might have believed me. Folsy Bear, thanks for the bang bang. Thanks you for the riveting recreation of the crime scene, but unfortunately, the evidence does not agree. Good theory though. Is this what he saw? Into the position where the police, myself and my colleague, saw it when investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Chickens? Me? My lord? What is this man talking about? I don't understand anything.
Oh, he just talks about chickens, that defense attorney. We don't really understand why, but he always comes out with the right result anyway, so we just let it pass. You know, between all of the weird witnesses and wine-drinking prosecutors we have, we'll let it slide. It's not the weirdest thing we've seen in this court.
It's not the weirdest thing this legal system will ever see, too. You and your fellows were there at the scene before anyone else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. You're sad it didn't even take it into evidence. I'm sorry, Folsy. How you doing, by the way? Van6. After seeing
that display, I'm going back to jail. Anything but the chickens. Lock me back up. I'm safer in there. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message.
Doing good. That's great to hear. Welcome to testimony. We got Usopp, Little Red Riding Hood, and Alderman on the stand. Mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wet my hand on it, that's all.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign of the crossroads of life.
Why is he even testifying? Although I am thankful for it, or else we would have never found out that gossip fell over on his booty butt.
It was the Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
You can't assume that. If it happened before you got there, then you're just conjuring. You're conjuring? Then you're just conjecturing.
So none of you can elaborate further.
I'm doing pretty good. We're doing another Tuesday stream, as is now I say usual. Just to get back into a groove and to make sure that Psychonauts on Thursday and Friday is gonna go pretty smoothly, alongside WarioWare Get It Together. Still not sure how that's going to work out, but I'm going to have fun playing a game that I greatly enjoy and never actually finished, actually. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
I think it's quite the opposite, Mr. Sandwich Man. Knowledge is power. Excited for Psychonauts. I will say, well, the first time I played it wasn't even too long after the game even came out. I played the original PC port way back when. Like, on my family 2004 Dell computer. It was not a gaming computer, but it still kinda ran the game. Nowadays, we've come so far, but honestly, I booted up and installed the game to test it out, and it still looks really good. Helps that it was on the original Xbox as well as the PS2. The original Xbox had some pretty good graphics for its time. Really? Well, I think it had good graphics. In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. Man, it kind of feels like I'm the prosecution in this case. I'm the only one actually leading us towards any progress. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly committed the crime is Baroque Van Zeeks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witness despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord. I was hoping I'd get a choice and I'd be like, why would I ever say no?
Very well, then you may proceed, counsel.
Dun-da-la, da-da-da-da-da-da. Mystery of the moving board. Hold it! Now, we've read all this dialogue, so let me just press through all of it. So you admit it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Yes, I wiped my hand on it. My bloody hand. What about you? Did you smell it with your bloody nose? I don't have a bloody nose. No, you don't have a bloody nose. You just have a bloody nose. Admit it? What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? Okay, now I'm just making stuff up. No, imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. When is it not? In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Yeah, so it would seem.
Can I just see the animation a couple of times? It's just fun to watch. Just saying. How many matches do you have? Hold it! As many pencils as many Memo has? When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's the primary school just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow the school to kingdom come.
And you're willing to facilitate that? Ma'am, I feel like we need to put you on court for illegal fireworks.
So I've been telling on him, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
So they confiscate the fireworks and she sells them more. Whoa! What a scam! Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them.
You think the kids would learn?
And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
Probably not the kids' parents. What a racket.
Of course, course, and sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
You must be Ted Tonate's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
What? This is the only reason for Mr. Sandwich. Just to straighten the other witnesses out. Nothing else. Oh, scary. The important point is, you didn't go inside the room where the inspector was killed, isn't that right?
Definitely not. Wouldn't have dreamed of it, would I?
So the only actual testimony we have is coming from Gossip here, and I can't 100% trust him. We have to, like, catch him in a big lie. Something really that, like, makes it clear that he's just saying what the court wants to hear. Queen Miku, I see you sliding on out. If you got an alert, that's fine. It's just fireworks, it's fine. Hold it! Cutest gamer gotta head out. Ain't no problem. Thanks again for that raid, and hope to see you around. But you did go see what happened in that room, didn't you? Hey Nico, how's it going? Should I be expecting something soon? Just wondering. I don't want anything in the mail to expire.
Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it.
How quickly he forgets his omnibus route.
I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold up my sign high.
So you did go to see what had happened. Kazuma, I want to see your face smile again one more time.
It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
I feel like he said that during the first game. Did you notice the notice board in the room?
Notice the notice board? Notice the notice board? If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the Shine family.
Sapien, but close enough.
So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians. Was that, like, species designation even, like, named at the time? Because this is supposedly, like, right after Charles Darwin, like, came up with the theory of evolution even. Does that really mean you didn't notice the board? Miku's drawing up plans. Well, hope your schemes go smoothly, I will say.
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about everything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign of the crossroads of life.
Ryunosuke sweating up a storm. Bye-bye.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
Who indeed?
Hold it!
Now I know when I need to push, so I'm just gonna go through all this first. What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now, don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards, they're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I never noticed. The word notice is starting to sound like not a real word anymore. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second. Oh, so you're just like cross-eyed, just one eye looking at the Reaper, one eye on the person. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feeling like that might do if you look away, do you? So you're saying you could have missed somebody just like standing in the corner? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort, I can swear to that. So you admit you just lied? I couldn't have missed it if he had heaved the thing up right again and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we cleared that up. Telling bold-faced lies. And his face is pretty bold. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. We'll just draw Kazuma back to the side, back to the light side, by making the witnesses so annoying that he can't help but just scream at them and point out their contradictions.
Hold it!
His defense attorney nature compels it. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard that loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed in the way because of the gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
Well, that was morbid and ominous. My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story,
It may be possible to change all our fates.
can't escape from crossing fate.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not necessarily. All I gotta do, now that I've established there's a possibility that there's time in between the quote-unquote murder and the scene as the police came to it, somebody has to have had time to move the notice board. I'm thinking, again, that it was more time than anybody has mentioned thus far, calling into doubt whether even more events could have transpired to change the scene of the crime. Alright, old man, let me just skip to your interjection. Kiss. Ow.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? Again.
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No.
No.
Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
No.
Oh, sorry. I guess not.
Actually, philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts.
I cannot believe that I'm pushing this line of questioning. Huh? What? Huh?
Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth? In which case she's not a liar.
Okay, sir, I know what philosophical question you're proposing, and it only works if they say I always lie. Don't try to catch me in like a GLaDOS Wheatley time paradox kind of thing. Does the set of all sets contain itself? I wonder.
Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me that you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? That stare says it all.
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
It always is. It always is. Rarely do we ever get a sweet-faced witness that is actually sweet. Unless they're like, what's her name? June something? From, Ace Attorney 5. Unless they're actually like my friend. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Juniper Woods, that's her name. Thanks for the hair. I like it. It's beautiful. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it.
Whoa! Where do we get to that? You're not gonna be damned just because you said a woman lied. If she actually is a liar, then to heck. Call her out on it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The most beautiful hair. I'm thinking about it getting permanently put this way, you know? Because usually it just kind of falls apart after a minute. All the hair's just covering my face. Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there.
So she was here. Why is she refusing to say anything? Is it because it's different? Or does she not want to implicate herself?
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Well, one thing's for sure. You're a match made in heck. At least for our courtroom. Tell the truth or get out of here. But get out of here after you tell the truth, because I need that. Yes, you mentioned it. Gate snipe, half a year. Time for some eggs. Half a dozen years, half a dozen eggs. Enjoy them. They're that kind that are pre-salted from the Asian market. They're delicious. How you doing? Can she just do that? Can she just go on the internet and tell lies? Well, not under... Thank you for the chickens. They're here to attack all who lie in court. That's what perjury is. That's what perjury is. It's chickens. All of these chickens. That's what your punishment is. That's what you get. That's what you get for lying to the court. You get stampeded on. I didn't invent the rules. England is just weird like that. Gates Knight, thank you. Thank you for the resub. Welcome back to the chicken coop. Grab a nest, get comfy. And Nintendo Novice, thank you for the raid. Can we get a shout out for Nintendo Novice? Welcome, welcome. As always, feel free to drop out if you don't want spoilers for Great Ace Attorney 2, but how was the stream?
That revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
So Zato, if there's anything I admire, it's your excitement for anything that happens, whether or not it's actually beneficial to my case. Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? They were full of chickens, too. How you doing, Novice? What were you playing? Let me do it myself. Miitopia? No, Pokemon Unite. Or Miitopia? I'm assuming you did Miitopia then Pokemon. Well, I hope you had a good time. Miitopia is a long game, though, so are you really near the end, or do you just think you're near the end? I've seen people like start Miitopia and be like, oh, part 7, I'm nearing the end, we're gonna beat the Dark Lord. Oops. Sorry, I guess part 14, we're gonna beat the Dark Lord. Oops, sorry. Part 20, we're gonna beat the Dark Lord. It's longer than you think, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of post-game, too, so... I don't know, just gonna warn you out there, but hope you've been having fun with it. I did play Miitopia back on the 3DS version. Pretty good, pretty good. Don't think I ever really want to play it again, though, even though they added, like, a horse and stuff. Like, super awesome meme making on the Switch version, but glad you're having fun. Welcome to Great Ace Attorney, as you know. Pretty good. We're in the middle of a case that probably determines the future of Naruhodo and everybody he knows. So, let's make sure we get the right ruling on this one.
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief!
Well, now that you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah?
Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurous act later.
No, consider it now! Don't you have, like, a standard for that? Judge, I'm telling you for the history of Ace Attorney's court system for the next 100 years, if you don't actually come up with a punishment for perjury, there will never be a punishment for perjury. Never mind, we know the outcome of that. People can just lie left and right in Ace Attorney. No problem, apparently. This might be the only time anybody has mentioned the concept of perjury in Ace Attorney. Did anybody else in the chat know? Because I literally never heard the term in Ace Attorney itself, outside of right now.
For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course.
Hope you had a good stream, Nintendo novice. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing good.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Also, Soul Sapphire, what are you up to right now? Just wandering. After playing some Persona 4. Hope you're chilling. Hope you're getting something good to eat. That goes for anyone coming on the raid, too.
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair.
Punishment for perjury for someone who isn't the defense. Who's heard of that? Right, I get punishment in forms of like attacks on my health bar or my little exclamation points or my little badges. But nobody else, nope. It's like Edgeworth says, is there just a big target painted on the defense chair or something? On the defendant's side of the bench?
If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Salt is right. I'm feeling a little salty. Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please. Look, Kazuma is helping.
Well, alright, just a bit then.
All the truth.
I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene? Only people ever punished for perjury were Ryunosuke and Gregson after Great Ace Attorney 1-5. Wow, it's like Shu Takumi himself was like, man, I forgot. Did we remember to add punishment for perjury in any of the other Ace Attorney games? No? Write that in. Just say it was a remnant of the old court systems back in England. Never got brought to Japan, no.
I mean, oh, please, as if I would. Oh, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please. Thank you, Kazuma.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had to look to see if there was anything I could sell.
Like dead bodies? I hear that the hospitals are paying a pretty penny for cadavers.
So I did get the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right, now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Soul's playing comfy games. That is a night to remember, that is. I do like the comfy ones. Maybe some Pokemon Unite? That's not comfy, that's salt. Salt-inducing. Saltier than the oceans themselves.
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please. Yeah!
Well, alright then, I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing.
Whoa! You just straight up messed with the crime scene. Why has nobody else talked about this?
You're telling us you did move the board?
Kazuma, your composure.
It's fading.
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
What? You that bomb pot!
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
Can we get better witnesses, please? So, did you find anything then? Something you might have taken, perhaps? To sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky.
The truth now!
I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose.
Time of death! Time of death! Time of death!
But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much.
So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it! Gina? Were you here the whole time? Are you the copper?
Young lady, may I remind you what you are?
That watch there! That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago!
Kazuma is not having it. This is what you get when you sign up to be a prosecutor, Kazuma. Did you not read the fine print? No. You not own. This is why Edgeworth, this is why Von Karma, this is why every prosecutor prepares their witnesses. Not because they want them to lie, well, sometimes because they want them to lie, but because they're also daft that there's no telling what they'll say in court. So you don't want to be caught off guard as much as the defense is. You have to be prepared for every outcome.
The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
But you can't wind this watch. It's missing the thing at the top. I see.
I swiped it off him once and blimey was he I swiped it off him once and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then.
It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez's that night to ask how much it's worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it, said it wasn't working. Knocked about and ruthless, as he called it.
Anytime you have a watch in an Ace Attorney game, what is a worse fate? To be a helicopter pilot in a Resident Evil game, or to be a watch in an Ace Attorney game? Either way, without fail, they die at the most in the most inopportune moment, or in this case, opportune.
Oh, I knew I should have lifted it.
But it'd been safe from her. Now, Gina, how does it feel to have something stolen from you? Or in this case, your boss?
That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done.
It's not yours.
Not a chance. I'll swipe it from it if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough! Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Disturbing a crime scene, taking evidence from the crime scene. Perjury. She's digging herself a deep hole. Not an Ace Attorney, she's not. She gets off scot-free because reasons. Because reasons. Because Ace Attorney just doesn't care. I love it and I hate it. Just so many targets on the Naruhodo line's backs. Now, children, watch your manners.
Good Lord!
Yes, Judge, I know that's your catchphrase. Oh, geez, that thing is shattered.
The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Ah, shiza. There goes my theory.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
What? That's not good. That's not good. That was my only theory. I had to come up with something new.
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved, at least.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
No. Let me take a good close look at this. The glass over the face is really badly cracked. Look.
What a shame.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
Although he'd probably upgrade it to have like a miniature laser in it as well. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact.
But kindly remember he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man.
Well, he is an odd man. Just not an odd job man. Nor is he odd job. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here, look.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time.
Didn't Gina just say it's a wind-up? Yeah, this up here seems to be where the wind-up thing is supposed to be. At least from pocket watches I've had. It's been broken off, though. Pocket watch wasn't shot, just dropped. Yeah. I don't see a contradiction there. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of his watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. What? Maybe it's something that we thought was something else? Hey, no wait, wind up. using the key from the police officer thing. Then what's this? Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see? Oh yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism. If we can wind it up, we can possibly prove that it still works. It maybe didn't break when Inspector Gregson died. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole. It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found. That's just telling me just in case I didn't find the policeman figure. It could have been set for that time prior to the gunfire. I don't know if it's actually possible to set a pocket watch to stop at a specific time. Like, you could just, like, keep it running a little bit, and then just stop it when it's at the time you want it to be. But barring that happening, we'd have to prove that's what happened here, and for what reason. I don't know what opportunity we'll have to actually put the key in the pocket watch, though. I have to... What I have to do is provide evidence that proves contrary to something that people are already saying. Is there any sort of watch around here? Not that I can see. So I'm thinking the pocket watch, probably, because it's new information. But what would be my argument? What would be the reason why the pocket watch works? What states that he didn't actually die when the pocket watch was in question? I could just present it and go with it. You know, I could also save. Now I'm free to try whatever I want. I mean, it has to be. Just let the game tell me why. Naruhodo, it's up to you, buddy.
Objection!
Oops. Guess that's not it. Try selecting the key and using it. You can't use evidence on other evidence in your inventory. That's not how this game works. All that I can do is show evidence to a statement. Unfortunately, it's not like a point-and-click adventure game. Like, even if I know that this is a key, it doesn't really... Oh, wait, what? I've seen this before, but I guess I just have to see it again now that I have the pocket watch? Alright, okay, I guess that is how this specific piece of evidence works. Just now. Mr. Zato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Mr. Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. Ace Attorney, you do not throw new mechanics at me. Like this. I'm supposed to already, if I've looked at it, whatever. I knew it. A perfect fit. And look, the inspector's watch has started going again. So it's obviously not been wound up, that's all. So now I can present the watch. Are we really allowed to just tamper with evidence like this? What is it, Mr. Zato? Well, that the watch isn't actually broken after all. It just needs to help. It has to have been tampered with in a way that made it look like it shows time of death. I have a feeling it could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply too. Thinking? We don't think here. We just throw evidence at the problem and see what works. Now I present the pocket watch.
Objection!
See, that is very different from how evidence usually works in these games. So the fact that I'm more acquainted with that threw me off. Usually what would happen would be like, I present the pocket watch, the judge asks why, and I say like, using this other piece of evidence, I can prove that the watch still works, and then I wind it up. Takumi, what are you doing? You're trying to trick me over here? You're trying to change the way the games work? I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case.
Oh!
At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch.
A key?
Ah, a card key. That's right, Snake. You have to warm up the key. Put it in your butt. It's the only way. It's temperature sensitive. Memory alloy. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. Look at that smug pose. That is exactly Phoenix's victory pose from the later games. Well, the earlier games. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. Ghost Dog, nice objection. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. Thanks for the suggestion, me man. I got problems with that.
Order! Order! Order!
Ghost Dog VG, what is your order? Ma'am, this is a Wendy's, so you can order whatever you want as long as it's on the Wendy's menu. You can have one of those square cheeseburgers. You can have some chili. Love Wendy's chili, it's pretty good. You can have those chicken nuggies. Baconators. Wait, is that Carl's Jr. or is that Wendy's?
But Counsel, the watch was started at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard the gunshot.
It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Vanilla Frosty machine's broke. Have a nice day. Even if that's true, Baconator is Wendy's. Thank you. Ghost Dog orders a nice bowl of pho. They don't have pho at Wendy's. They could try. Is it one of those cases like the Krusty Krab pizza? Just takes a bunch of burgers and mashes them into a pizza? Oh yeah, we'll just take some leftover chicken stock. I'm sure they have some of that at Wendy's somewhere in the back. Put a little bit of burger meat in there as beef. And as for noodles, just take a bunch of beef buns and then roll them between your hands like Play-Doh, you know, when you make those little Play-Doh snakes. Just make them into noodles and then put them in. There you go, you got some nice Wendy's pho.
The 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
Always one step behind. Always sounding like the defense, Kazuma. Really, you found the wrong calling in life.
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Why not? Tell me! Ah! Ah! You're ruining my first day in court, Naruhodo. You're ruining it.
I'm not ruining it. You're doing that to yourself. Don't let anybody else ruin your day. You should ruin it yourself. Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his crowd to come at the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. So that means at some point when he died it was running, and it happened to wind down in the exact way to land at 5 p.m. while he was dead. The only time it would have been unwound.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Well, how do you explain that?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. He lost the key? Oh, that could also do it. Or he was dead. Also, depending on what kind of pocket watch you have, This little piece, it can be the piece that winds up the watch, but it is also the piece that sets the time. Somebody must have set it to 5 p.m. and then broke it off so nobody could change it. You can't mean. Absolutely done with everyone lying. Ryunosuke is used to it. Kazuma is just so confused. What would stop a man from winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Omae wa mou shinderu!
Order! Order! Counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Fix your toupee, sir. You need to be in the utmost pristine condition for pictures later.
Extraordinary isn't the word. It's absurd.
You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would ever overlook something like that? Yes, actually. They did. Because it says right here, time of death. Nothing. Maria Gori.
On that subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
Oh, that's right.
Wait a minute, you're forgetting that my legs went down from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood.
Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
It doesn't look like that big of a puddle, though. I guess he is talking about that puddle. That blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterward. Some fresh blood could have been... Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? It's available inside every person. Also, where do you get off calling me learned friend? That is Baroque's pet name for me. I mean... name for me.
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course.
Pig's blood. Let's go. That's available in the market.
We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
Not yet. Give it some time. The future will have, like, epigenetic markers on the cells. Right now, no.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
It could even be chicken blood. Nah, Danganronpa did that already. Wait! So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. Ryunosuke, why a chicken?
He always talks about chickens.
But I'm not making a joke this time! Why that example? Be right back, getting murdered by Ryunosuke in order to change... Wait, no, Ryunosuke is not the one who planted the blood at the scene of the crime. It was my blood.
It certainly is a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Unless that was a sly nod to Danganronpa.
Objection!
Objection. But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond a question. You know, just a chicken at the scene of the crime. It was me. Is it though?
What?
Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all.
Oh, please, what are you trying to say?
And it's a firecracker, one of your firecrackers, Little Miss Firecracker Seller, firecrackers.
Us law know what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from that there room.
Whoa, you got a whip. That's the same whip from before.
Now you listen to me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood.
I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. Yo, who you think you are, Francisca von Karma? You didn't have to turn in that whip when you left the omnibus company? Hey!
Explain yourself then, counsel.
Cross-examine the chicken. I plead the fifth. I plead being dead. A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with a gun. Firecrackers. Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness!
Now hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See?
But 100 of them. Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. Ooh. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off the scene? Why did they let him bring a whip in the courtroom? Also, welcome in, Dusk. Well, the same reason they let Franziska von Karma bring a whip in. The judge secretly likes it. I mean, the judge is scared of it. I mean, it's fine. It's not against the rules. He's not the defense attorney. Sandwich can do what he wants. It says right here in the rule book, section E, paragraph 5, as long as the defense, as long as the party in question is not the defense attorney, they may bring in whatever they want to the courtroom and may lie about anything ever. It says right here, it's in law. You can't argue with the book. I'm suggesting that someone knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
Edgeworth never objected to the whip. I mean, Edgeworth has lived with Franziska von Karma for most of his young life, so like, he probably just thinks that's a normal thing for kids to have. He just goes to school and talking about like, my sister has a whip. Why don't you have a whip? Is it because you're poor? Us von Karmas are rich. Clearly we're allowed to have whips. You could have whips too if you had the money. But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Baroque Van Zeeks.
One whiff of a match and my fireworks go pop. See, it's why people like him.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb. Enoch Drebber, you have given us the missing piece of the puzzle. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. What was that?
Good heavens! A bomb?
Don't scare the judge now. We don't want him having a heart attack in court. There's no jury, so he has to pass the ruling. Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
Oh, he does have a knack for those, doesn't he? Next thing you know, he'll bring a horse. You know, it's not the weirdest animal that's been in court. We've had parrots. Have we had dogs in court, I wonder? Maybe Missile at one point? I can't remember. Oh, no. What? Wait, it's the whenever you like part. Well, that's important. A time device. Maybe they use the pocket watch as the timer? Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel.
Oh, damn it.
What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create the gunshot wound?
Sound, not wound. Well, you know, the fact that the watch is a timer, other than that, I can't really think of anything else. Just going over my bases. Yeah, I really don't think there's anything else. Have we? No, we're not allowed to look at that in 3D. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. All right, I'm gonna try the watch.
Take that!
You're suggesting this could have been used as some sort of time delay device?
I did think so, my lord. If it's not the watch, I can think of one other thing. I did think so, my lord, but it's becoming increasingly clear that we've all been very misguided here.
Objection!
I may want to save more often.
Yes, by you.
What?
No, Council, the time has come for a penalty. Without delay.
Okay. So it's not... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Hold on, let me save. Thankfully, unlike other Ace Attorney games, it does allow me to save while a question's being asked. Thank goodness. That was the most excruciating part of the old games. The only other thing that, in my mind, has anything to do with a delay is the fact that the candelabra has delayed, basically, the difference between the lengths of the candle. What if, like, a rope or something were tied to the bottom of the candle, and then once the candle burned down to that point, then the rope catches on fire, burns like a wick towards wherever the explosive is, and then triggers the explosive.
Take that!
Apparently. As the court had already discussed, you know, I just happened to go with the one that made a little more sense first because I didn't want to seem silly. Of course, Ace Attorney is all about being silly. It's like a reverse escape room. You have to come up with the most convoluted excuse possible. You know what I want to do? I want to open up an escape room, and I want the solutions to the puzzles to be exactly cases from Ace Attorney. I want them to be like, oh, here's a model of William Shakespeare's room, complete with gas meter and soap on the windowsill. But instead of soap on the windowsill, it's just like a freezer with some soap in with some soap in it. And you just need to do exactly what happened in the game in order to escape. As the court had already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in the candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
Oh, or maybe it just blew up. I don't think that's possible, my lord.
Not possible? Why?
Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are? Goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
But because it was just point blank. And why did I just accept that? The game literally told me that scorch marks only appear at point blank. That's right, there was, but as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Maybe he was just right up against the candle.
Oh!
Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks? How could that be, eh? The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle, don't steal my voice. Sorry, it's just so dang cool. Suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and the firecrackers were joined together. Oh. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two. That is the most... yeah, they're saying that this is what happened, but that's gotta be really unreliable. How are you so sure? Did you, like, buy the exact candles you needed and tested them beforehand to see how fast they burn? What if there's, like, a difference in the air in the room? Maybe it burns faster when it's colder or something like that. Just so happens to be when Baroque Vanzix entered. Please. The candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd hit a gunshot at 5 o'clock. You know, I've played my fair share of Ace Attorney games, Even I find that far-fetched. Hearing it now and having presented it. Really?
Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we'd led to believe. The previous day, even.
Now, just hold your horses. All the lot here at the site here saw the victim going into the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Consider the following. Look, I've heard of people, like, disguising themselves to look like a previously killed victim, but the other way around? Just put a wig on the victim? I guess that's a way to do it. What, they couldn't find a Gregson-colored wig anywhere? Anything, all you had to do was, like, wear the hat and then come in with some fish and chips. That's how you impersonate Gregson. Easy. Obviously, anyone can wear a wig. Consider this egg. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before this incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
The true killer. It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Oh, very impressive. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma, he's smiling! Oh, there's the monkey paw wish. He's laughing at my argument. No, you're supposed to laugh with me, not at me. Thanks for the hydrate. Also, nameless inversion, how are you doing tonight, by the way? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. Geez, Kazuma, how come the judge lets you have 2 swords? I gave his sword back to him. I want it back. I want it back if you're gonna just use them to cut my arguments down. You can't dual wield. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, his theme is playing right now. But not in a good way. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you? Ah! I object to Kazuma being mean. Problem is, you objected on the prosecutor's side. That you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer. I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report. A stark omission. Give us back the sword. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Kazuma, what do you think I've been dealing with these past, like, 8 months, dude?
Order! 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 Prosecutor Asogi, I will not have you insulting the good name of this court. What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So, we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it. I'm doing the blinking dude meme right now. Kazuma, you agree then? We need to go down this line of question. You're agreeing with me. You're helping me. You're saying the trial can't end until we've exhausted every possible. You are a good lawyer, Kazuma. You just had to yell at a firecracker lady a couple of times to get there. Take a double cheeseburger, medium fries. Sir, this is a Wendy's. Yes.
Well, certainly. I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. They didn't mention that last time. possibly... Well, now, okay, so I had this theory that Inspector Gregson likes to go undercover, like, in order to do his investigative work. So, like, that's why he always went alone, so nobody would blow his cover. So I had this theory that maybe... I'm just gonna say this, that maybe Inspector Gregson, maybe he is, somehow the person that went missing the other day, the Daily Man. Just wearing a wig and just pretending to be him. But, if the wig was just put on him to stage his killing, maybe that's separate. Like, of course, Evie Vigil's husband hasn't come back. He's dead because he's Inspector Gregson. Maybe? I don't know. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
He couldn't even move a yard, much less a couple of feet. However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death. Are we really doing this?
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Here's what I'm thinking. Well, if this... Okay, I'm turning around what I know. Maybe? The question is now in my mind, is this whole conspiracy board... Did Gregson do this, or did Gregson's killer do this, and Gregson happened upon it, that's why he had to die? That's the crux of the issue. He was investigating 1800s Team Rocket. So basically the plot of Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm gonna pull what is called a big brain move and say that because there is so much evidence relating to the disappearance of Mr. Vigil, that's not it. There's no one piece of evidence that can point towards that. But there is something in our inventory that points to one quote-unquote case. Again, wondering where this goes. Or maybe it's something here, or there, or everywhere.
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume that it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd, even if he has to shout out loud, "Till mine is the only face you see, I'm gonna stand out till you notice me." Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. Undercover? There was entirely too many possibilities floating around in my mind. But I wanted to go with something that narrowed it down to exactly one. It's sort of the opposite of what Sherlock Holmes says. Once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever left, however improbable, must be the truth. More like, if there are a million possibilities out there, the truth of the matter is there is only one truth. So what possibility narrows it down to one? Maybe that only works because it's a video game. Thank you for that reference. The Red-Headed League? But for Sherlock Holmes, he literally said it in the game already. I'm sorry, Sherlock Holmes. So, you'd already worked it out. And you'll work it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
Yeah, the Justice League. More like the Injustice League. The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. One truth prevails, in the words of Conan and Ogawa. Hey, you know what? That's probably a crossover that needs to happen. You know what I want? I want a crossover between Scooby-Doo and Detective Conan. At this point, let's make it happen, WB. Why limit it to just Mortal Kombat and Courage the Cowardly Dog and John Cena? Let's go! Oh, you mean Standout. Sorry, there's a bit of a stream delay sometimes, especially if you're watching on mobile, so who knows? Thank you for slamming the desk. I'm sorry, Goofy Movie is one of my favorite movies. I already had a watch night of it in the Discord. You know, I need to bring those back. Eventually I will. But you can watch it again.
A deception of what nature, Council?
Yeah, they did cross over with Kiss. But I want to cross over with anime. They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. And that's how they have the money to pay new members. You don't think it's a pyramid scheme, do you? 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. Sholmes, my lord. The defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. Wait, really?
2 redheads?
Where are we going with this? You know, they're probably more dependable witnesses than this lot. I will gladly bring them in. Kazuma, I'll show you how it feels to have witnesses brought against you and actually have a plan of attack. That part is just a bluff, but I'll call in some witnesses. God help me. Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. They did one with Supernatural. They should have a crossover with Detective Conan. Oh yeah! Wasn't that... I think I saw a clip recently where it's like... The gang where like... What? Ghosts are real? That means... Is there an afterlife? Am I going to hell? I don't know! And it's quite possible that such contact led to more... serious events. Now, that sounds like an innuendo. It's wild to me that Scooby-Doo Courage isn't even out yet. I don't think that Mortal Kombat thing is any more than just a WB bumper. But, you know, it basically canonifies Ultra Instinct Shaggy, so I love it. Like, get over here, man!
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least. Please tell me that we have a break before then so I refill on my badges? On my penalties?
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Professor Asogi.
There's the bow. Kind of a bow, does that count? I guess so.
At once, my lord. Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
And there we have it. For now, at least. Toby Maguire continued. Well. I will say, I don't know how I feel about that. Those witnesses were... those witnesses sucked. You know, in Ace Attorney, either the witnesses are lying, they're mistaken, or somewhere in between all of that. And usually when they're lying, it's because they're the culprits and are trying to hide something. When they're lying just to be buttholes about it... If it weren't for the fact that Kazuma himself got salty at the witnesses, I would have absolutely hated interacting with those people. I'm just being honest here. But the fact that it also got under his skin made it feel like I was once again brothers in arms with Asogi, just he happened to be on the other side of the courtroom. I am going delirious here. It's a perfect time to break. I think that'll be it for Great Ace Attorney 2 for this week. It's a little bit of a cliffhanger, but also a great time to break it if we do have to. So, without further ado, I guess the gumshoe music works? Sometimes I really have to guess whether or not the music I pick is going to fit the tone of what just happened in the game. Well, it's not like before when I had something sad and tragic happen and all of a sudden you get freaking... Where is that? Where is that? Congratulations, major character is dead. Let's go with my FA. There you go. There you go. Once again, we finished another day of trial. And things are progressing. I don't know if we're that much closer to figuring out the murder of Inspector Gregson. Now I'm not so sure. I went into this thinking I had a specific theory. It could still go that way.
Thank you.
But I need to learn a little bit more about what the situation is at hand before I make any judgments. So, what I will say is, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for hanging out. Next week, we'll continue Great Ace Attorney 2, as always. Tomorrow on the YouTube channel, look out for an escapade, because I didn't do one last week, but I will do one again. I swear it, I didn't do one last week. Yeah. Thanks for coming on by. As always, if you have art for the stream, post it to the Discord or tweet it at me. And I'll put it up. No art tonight, but that's okay. If you haven't already, follow me to catch me live on Twitch next time I play this game, or any other game. Psychonauts later this week. Also, WarioWare, get it together. YouTube channel, Twitter, Discord, all that good stuff. But until then, I'll be waiting with bated breath. We will find Tobias' murderer. I swear on his fish and chips. I swear it! I will eat fish and chips every week in morning. Okay, maybe not. That's not healthy, but I will eat them someday because I'm hungry. Let's go find somebody to raid. If you're going to sleep, have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time, and farewell. See y'all. Stay clucky.